You guys enjoyed my coverage of physical PlayStation 4 game deals in the video I did a little while ago, so here are some more physical game deals directly available on Amazon. Outside of that, I also do want to talk a significant update to Cyberpunk 2077 as it is getting a free next-gen upgrade, so that idea about there being a PlayStation 5 Definitive Edition or anything like that looks like that won't be the case, as they're going the free route and they will be giving a next-gen update. However, at this point, it is only confirmed for the Xbox, so we'll talk all about that. But first up, there are quite a few good game deals available directly on Amazon right now. I've got a total of 6 deals to go over, so let's talk about those. First up, really happy to see this deal. Ace Combat 7 Skies Unknown was 67% off for $19.99. Now, I actually recently talked about this game just because I think it's on sale as a part of a PlayStation Store sale. However, I made sure to mention that it was holding up in price for quite a while. I believe on the PlayStation Store, it's like $30, and that's still a relatively high price point given the fact that this game came out like 13 months ago. It actually came out right before Resident Evil 2 and Kingdom Hearts 3, so why was a game like Ace Combat 7 holding up its value more so than those two titles? Whatever the case may be, Bandai Namco titles generally do hold up in price a little bit longer, and that's not to say Ace Combat 7 didn't deserve to hold up in price. It's a great game. I'm just cheap as hell, as you guys know. Ace Combat 7 itself is a fantastic game. If you want a quality action flight title, you'll definitely find that here. Decent story, but really the standouts are the gameplay as well as the presentation. The presentation's top-notch, and if this style of game seems like something you'd be interested in, I would definitely recommend it, and you'll definitely have a good time with it. Alright, next up for you fighting game fans out there, Warner Brother Games' Injustice 2 Legendary Edition is 50% off on Amazon right now, down to $14.99. What a great price on this. So obviously, the base Injustice 2 experience is already relatively good, but as is the case with a lot of fighting games, if you don't get a lot of the content with the base purchase, you'll end up spending a lot more money on DLC, season passes, things of that sort. However, with the Legendary Edition of Injustice 2, you get all of the downloadable content characters. It includes 10 additional characters and 5 premiere skins, including Hellboy and TMNT. Every battle defines you. With every match, you'll earn gear to equip, customize, and evolve your roster. There have been a lot of good fighting games this generation. I don't even know how I would begin to rank them. However, from a value standpoint, which is the standpoint you should be coming at when it comes to getting good deals, Injustice 2 Legendary Edition is definitely offering you a lot of value, and it's one of those fighting games that is really catered towards me just because I'm not the biggest, fighting game aficionado. I'm not trying to get super good and play competitively, go to EVO or anything like that. I just want to casually play a fighter, maybe invite some friends over, play some couch games, and be on my merry way after that. And I felt like Injustice 2 did a really good job offering me that kind of experience. So $15 for it with a lot of the additional content, I would say, is a really good buy. Next up, Metro Exodus is 50% off for $19.99. Good to see this come down in price. Now, before you guys pick this up, you should know that Metro Exodus does have some sizable DLC. That DLC just came out, and it is story-based DLC, so maybe that's something you want to get. And if you do, there's actually the Metro Exodus Aurora Limited Edition, which is down to $40 right now. That'll include some additional goodies. You'll get a Metro Exodus dynamic theme, steelbook, art book, access to the expansion pack, a metal case, and the Creatures of Metro Exodus poster. So obviously, the access to the expansion pass is the main thing, just because I believe that expansion pass does go for like $25, so that's pretty reasonable. If not, the base game is still really good. I enjoyed my time with Metro Exodus. I was vocal in the fact that I said that I didn't think the game was quite as good as 2033 or Last Light. That's not a slight at the game at all. It's very similar to Batman Arkham, where I often say that Arkham Knight isn't as good as Arkham Asylum and Arkham City. Well, what does that really mean? Arkham Asylum and Arkham City were tremendous games. Metro 2033 and Metro Last Light were fantastic games, so Metro Exodus falling a little bit short among those games isn't really a slight on the game at all. It's still a very compelling and engrossing single-player atmospheric first-person shooter, and I often say it about Metro, but Metro, unlike a lot of other games, or I should just say better than a lot of other games, just immerses you into the world and creates that atmosphere that does add another layer to the immersion, and I feel like that's one of the strongest elements of Metro. And at $19.99, it's a great buy right now. I could understand why some were hesitant at a full $59.99 price point, just because it is a single-player oriented first-person shooter. There's not a ton of longevity behind it. It's not like it's a game that you're going to replay over and over again, but at $20 for the single-player experience that you do get, I would say it's a very good buy right now. Alright, next up, here is one of my favorite recent releases, and that is Slay the Spire. That is 50% off for $14.99. Obviously, this is a game that's probably more so associated with downloading the game and buying it on the PlayStation Store, but there is a physical copy available as well. If you guys don't know what Slay the Spire is all about, man, are you in for a treat. It is such an interesting game where it combines a card game with a dungeon crawling roguelike title. It is a mishmash of genres that I never thought would have worked, but then I started playing Slay the Spire, and then I realized those two elements of the game layer on top of each other to create such a more engrossing and compelling experience, and it adds a lot of mechanical differences that you would typically see in a traditional card game and you would typically see in a traditional dungeon crawler, and it just creates a very, very unique experience. That's the word I feel that really personifies Slay the Spire, and that is unique. I've never played a game really like it, and there's a lot of elements you have to gauge when you're playing through the game. Look, I played it at first and I was getting absolutely whooped. I didn't know what I was doing, and then you actually learn some of the gameplay elements. You learn what cards you want to put in the deck. You learn what cards you don't want to put in your deck. You learn how many cards ideally you want to have in your deck so your deck's thin enough so you can access the cards you need quicker. There's so many interesting and elements and quirks to Slay the Spire that just make it such a great game, and at $15, it is an awesome buy right now. Might look a little bit off-putting at first. Maybe you read the description and you're like, what is this game? But I'm telling you, what is the game? It's an awesome game at that. Alright, next up, God Eater 3 is 67% off for $19.99. I know most of you guys are busy with Monster Hunter World and Iceborne these days. God Eater often is compared to Monster Hunter in the sense of being an anime-style Monster Hunter, and I can definitely see those comparisons. You're gonna fight big behemoths, you're gonna get items, you're gonna get equipment that's gonna allow you to tackle on even bigger behemoths, and so on and so forth. God Eater does offer its own unique elements though, and I would say it has a story that's a little bit more in your face. I'm not gonna say it's anything out of this world, but if you like the Monster Hunter style of experience and you dig the anime aesthetic that God Eater has, I think you are going to enjoy it. I'm kind of hesitant and constantly comparing it to Monster Hunter just because I don't think the game is on the level of an MH World, but I thought Bandai Namco and the God Eater team did a relatively good job with God Eater 3, and now that it's down to $19.99, it's a great buy. It was holding up in price for quite a while, but at this price point, definitely a palatable pickup. And lastly, I do want to note that Amazon has also got World War Z down to $19.93. Great buy on that. I thought this was one of 2019's more underrated titles. If you want a great cooperative experience, World War Z is absolutely going to offer you that, and it is a game that I would highly recommend you that if you're going to pick it up, convince a couple of friends to pick it up too, and that's how you're going to have the best time possible. It's absolutely living and dying by its co-op experience, but if you can accentuate that, if you can get some friends to play it with you, you are going to have a blast playing World War Z, and at just $19.93, this is a great buy right now, especially given the fact that Saber Interactive has been incredibly committed to updating the game, adding new content, and for a game that originally released as a budget title at $40, that says a lot about their commitment to this game, and I would highly, highly recommend it. So those are all of the PlayStation 4 game deals available on Amazon right now, some really good ones. The one that really stood out to me was Ace Combat 7, just because that game was holding up in price for so long. Injustice 2 is really good. Metro Exodus, you can't go wrong with that. That's a great single-player first-person shooter. Slay the Spire has a lot of fun to be had as well, and I thought that was one of the more unique games of recent memory. Again, a game that I didn't think would be as good as it was, but it was really good. God Eater 3 and World War Z are good pickups as well. Okay, outside of that, I do want to quickly cover the major Cyberpunk 2077 update, and I've been talking about it a lot. I figured that Cyberpunk 2077 was gonna get a release on the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. Some DLC was gonna get rolled out, the multiplayer component was gonna get rolled out, and then boom, we would get Cyberpunk 2077 Definitive Edition for the PlayStation 5. That still might be the case, however, as far as the Xbox goes, it looks like that's not going to be the case, and that's been confirmed. Cyberpunk 2077 has been confirmed to get a free next-gen upgrade on Xbox Series X, and you would have to presume the same would end up happening on the PlayStation 5, however, without any confirmation to go off of. I'm not comfortable in saying that as a fact, but it is something that you can take into account. Tying in with the latest Xbox Series X details, Cyberpunk 2077 developer CD Projekt Red has confirmed that the game will be coming to next-gen systems in a way at least. The gist of it is that that if you buy Cyberpunk 2077 on Xbox One, you'll be able to upgrade the title for free on Xbox Series X based on the company's tweet. We assume that the same will apply to the PlayStation 4 version of the release, however, that has not been committed. CD Projekt Red officially tweeted out, quote, "Gamers should never be forced to purchase the same game twice or pay for upgrades. Owners of Cyberpunk 2077 for Xbox One will receive the Xbox Series X upgrade for free when available." So this is a fantastic step in a great direction. Now, I have always been of the mindset that developers were going to spam out definitive editions, and I feel like Cyberpunk and CD Projekt Red starting this trend may upset some other publishers and developers just because, look, it's an easy revenue stream. Last generation, or I should say this generation, was a little bit different because we didn't have inherent backwards compatibility right out of the gate, so there was reason to remaster games like Borderlands 2, there were reason to remaster games like Dark Souls 2 and all of these games, but next generation, when these games are going to be backwards compatible, you could theoretically just roll out an update and upgrade the games visually for free. Alternatively, you could re-release the game at a $39.99 price point, pack in some DLC, and try to get people to double dip on it. That's an idea that I'm sure is at least going to be brought to the table by some publishers and developers, and I mean, why not? It's a business at the end of the day, but CD Projekt Red has always been really, really good to the consumer, and once again, with Cyberpunk 2077, they're being really good to the consumer, so that's exciting to see, and hopefully it turns out the same for PlayStation 5 users as well, and PlayStation 4 owners of Cyberpunk 2077, but that's going to conclude this video. Again, a lot of great deals over on Amazon right now. Check them out, especially that Ace Combat 7 deal. I think that's really good, and CD Projekt Red doing right by gamers. Cyberpunk 2077 getting free next-gen upgrade on Xbox Series X. Is that going to happen on PS5 as well? I would imagine so, but no confirmation at this point. That's going to conclude this video. Sound off with all of your thoughts in the comment section down below. Thank you for watching, and goodbye. Hey guys, we hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, make sure to hit the subscribe button, and if you're already subscribed, do us a favor and hit the bell icon. This way you'll be notified whenever we post a new video. That's the best way to keep up with all of our uploads, and we usually try to upload 2 videos a day. And with the bell icon hit, you'll be notified whenever we do upload a video. As always, thanks for watching.